Hi, this is Ridea Keeping It Real, and we are reading through the Bible using the Good News Bible. We're on the Apocrypha books. We're on the book of Sirach, which is a wisdom book, and we are on chapter 40. So we're almost finished. Almost. It's one of those long books with a lot of chapters, but they're great. Great, great, great. So here we go. We're at the misery of life. I think we all can relate to that so far, right? Here we go. Every person has been given a great deal of work to do. A heavy burden lies on all of us from the day of our birth until the day we go back to the earth, the mother of us all. Okay, this is going to be heavy. I can already tell it. So it's really saying the earth is the mother of us all and that we should go back to the earth. That's interesting. We are confused and fearful, dreading the day of our death. All of us, from the king on his splendid throne, wearing royal robes and crowns, to the humblest person dressed in burlap and living in poverty, all through our lives we meet anger, jealousy, and trouble. Things disturb us. We live with furious conflicts and with the fear of death. Even when we go to bed, we think up new troubles in our sleep. We get little rest, if any at all. When we sleep, it is as if we were awake, disturbed by our imaginations. If we dream that we're running from an enemy, just as we're about to be caught, we wake up and are relieved to find there is nothing to be afraid of. Wow, that's a different way of reading it when I do that. It's almost like a mystery's coming up or something. I don't know if I like that. I'm not sure I like that. It's almost like I can hear the music behind it, like the scary Jaws music. All right. It's the Sabbath, and it's 11 o'clock, and I kind of feel like I'm up but not up for some reason. But here we go. We're here. Here is what all creatures, both human and animal, must face, but it is 7 times worse for sinners. Here are the things. Oh, this is just like a wealth of information. Death, violence, conflict, murder, disaster, famine, sickness, epidemic. Seven. Okay, wow. All these things were created because of the wicked. They are the ones who have caused destruction. Everything that comes from the earth goes back to the earth, just as all water flows into the sea. I mean, this right here, just this little portion, all of this right here, all of this, all of this. I don't know. I'm going to do something with all of this. I don't know if I'm going to do some sort of art, something with every bit of this. I don't know what that's going to be. But it's almost like those 11 verses set up. It was a book. Okay, the results of evil. Nothing that comes from bribery or injustice will last, but the effects of loyalty will remain forever. Wealth that has been obtained dishonestly is like a stream that runs full from a thunderstorm, turns tumbling rocks along. Wait. Wealth that is obtained dishonestly is like a stream that runs full during a thunderstorm. Tumbling rocks along as it flows, but then suddenly goes dry. The children of ungodly people will not leave large families. They are like plants trying to take root on rock, like reeds along a riverbank, withering before any other plant. Acts of kindness and charity are as lasting as eternity. Wow, this is great stuff. The joys of human life. So that was the miseries of human life and the results of evil. Now this is the joys of human life. Being independently wealthy or working for a living both can make life pleasant, but it is better to find a treasure. A man's name can be preserved if he has children, or if he establishes a city, but finding wisdom is a better way. Owning livestock and orchards will make you famous, but it is better to have a wife you love. Wine and music can make you happy, but a happy marriage is even better. Flutes and harps make fine music, but a pleasant voice is better than either. Gracefulness and beauty please the eye, but not as much as new growth in the spring. You can't go wrong with a good friend or neighbor, but an intelligent wife is better than either. That's like a rap, a rhyme. Somebody could rap that. Brothers and helpers are good to have in times of trouble, but it will be an even greater help if you have made a practice of giving to the poor. Gold and silver provide security, but good advice is better. Wealth and strength give confidence, but the fear of the Lord can give you even greater confidence. When you fear the Lord, you need nothing more. It is all the support you need. The fear of the Lord is like a rich garden of blessings. You could not want a more glorious shelter. Okay, that was interesting. What was real interesting to me is that, I don't know why, I related more to the reading of the miseries of human life. It was more impactful. The joys of human life, it kind of told you all the different types of joys, but some are better than others. It's good to note, to be joyful of these things, to look for these things, that these things can make you happy. And remember, this is uh, the wisdom of Jesus, son of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus. This was written in Hebrew by a man named Joshua and was later translated into Greek by his grandson. So this book includes traditional Israelite wisdom material and makes a defense of Judaism by showing that God has given true wisdom to his people. So it's still about wisdom, how to live life looking for and being wise. Begging. Son, don't live the life of a beggar. It is better to die than to beg. If you have to depend on someone else for food, you are not really living your own life. You pollute yourself by accepting food from another. Begging is torture to the soul of any sensitive person. A shameful person can make begging sound sweet, but something inside him burns. Death, which I'm fascinated with. So let's see what they have to say about it. Death. They say, death! Exclamation mark. The very thought of it is bitter to someone who is prosperous, living peacefully with his possessions, free of worries, and still able to enjoy his food. Death! Its sentence is welcome to someone living in poverty, with failing health, very old, burdened with worries, blind, and without hope. Do not be afraid of death's decree. Remember that it came to those before you and will come to those after you. I've always said that ever since my brother was killed. My uncles told me that. It's either the people you love are going to die or you're going to die. Death is certain. The Lord has decreed it for every living creature. Who are you to object to what the Most High wishes? In the world of the dead, no one will care whether you live 10 years, 100, or 1,000. Wow. Wow, that's something right there. I'm telling you, I could do this every day, all day, for the rest of my life and be the happiest person in the world. Reading this, underlining, coloring. I can't think of anything better to do. The faith of the wicked. The children of sinners brought up in ungodly surroundings. The children of sinners brought up in ungodly surroundings turn out to be hateful people. They will lose whatever they inherit, and their own descendants will live in permanent disgrace. This is the faith of the wicked. The children will put the blame for their disgrace on their ungodly parents. You are doomed, you irreligious men who have abandoned the law. Of the Most High. You're doomed, you irreligious men who abandon the law of the Most High. When you have children, disaster will strike them, and you will be left with nothing but sorrow. There will be a great joy whenever you stumble, and even after your death, you will be cursed. What comes into being from nothing will return to nothing. So it will be with the godless doomed to extinction. What comes into being from nothing will return to nothing. Don't be jealous of the people who are doing the wicked and you think you're getting away with it. They're not. A person's body amounts to nothing, but a good reputation will last forever. That is so true. Oh, so true. Protect your reputation. It will outlive you and last longer than 1,000 treasures of gold. A good life lasts only so long, but a good reputation will last forever. That is great. I think I'm going to tweet about that. And I still say tweet, I know. Expose does not sound as good. A sense of decency. My children, do as I teach you and live in peace. Wisdom is not expressed. Wisdom that is not expressed is like a treasure that has been hidden. Both are useless. A person who covers up his foolishness is better than one who keeps his wisdom to himself. My children, listen, and I will teach you the circumstances when it is proper to be ashamed. Sometimes it is entirely out of place. Before your parents, be ashamed of immoral behavior. Before a ruler or important person, be ashamed of a lie. Before a judge, be ashamed of criminal behavior. Before a public assembly, be ashamed of breaking the law. Before a friend or partner, be ashamed of dishonesty. Before your neighbors, be ashamed of theft. Be ashamed of breaking a promise. Of leaning on the dinner table with your elbows. Of stinginess when you are asked for something. Of not returning a greeting. Of staring at a prostitute. Of turning down a relative's request. Of depriving someone of what is rightfully his. Of staring at another man's wife. We could flip all of this. Staring at another woman's husband. Playing around with his slave girl. Keep away from her bed. Wow. That's one of the reasons why they took this out of the 66 books. Because of what happened in colonialism in the United States. With masters sleeping with the slave girl. Of insulting your friends. Of following up your gifts with criticism. Of betraying secrets. These are all of the things that you should be ashamed of and when you should be ashamed of it. These are the times when it is proper for you to be ashamed, and people will respect you for it. Oh, okay. Oh, I feel like I can't breathe again. I'm going to go ahead and get through 42. They get through it because, like I said, I feel like I can't breathe. And that was only 2 chapters. A sense of pride. On the other hand, it is possible to sin by giving in to other people too much. Here are some things you should not be ashamed of. Okay? You should not be ashamed of the law of the Most High and His covenant, judging even godless people fairly, sharing expenses with a business partner or a traveling companion, sharing an inheritance, using accurate weights and measures, making a profit, whether great or small, bargaining with the merchant, disciplining your children often, beating a disloyal slave until the blood flows. Wow, that's deep. It is wise to lock things up if you cannot trust your wife or if there are too many people around. Keep an accurate record of any deposits you make or of anything you give or receive. Don't hesitate to correct someone who is acting foolishly, an old man who goes around with prostitutes. All of this is worthwhile advice, and if you follow it, everyone will approve of your behavior. Interesting. Fathers and daughters. Although he will not let his daughter know it, the father will lie awake at night worrying about her. If she is young, he worries that she might not get married. If she's already married, he worries about her happiness. If she's a virgin, he worries that she might be seduced and become pregnant while living in his house. If she is married, he worries that she might be unfaithful or that she might not be able to have children. Keep a close watch over your daughter if she is determined to have her own way. If you don't, she may make a fool of you in front of your enemies. You will be a constant joke to everyone in town, a public disgrace. Make sure that her room has no windows or any place where she can look out to the entrance of the house. Don't let her show off her beauty in front of men or spend her time talking with the women. Women hurt other women just as moths damage clothing. A man's wickedness is better than a woman's godliness. Women bring shame and disgrace. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I'm just reading it from a man's point of view because as a man wrote it. The glory of God's nature. Now, I will remind you of the works of the Lord and describe the things I have seen. The words of the Lord brought his works into being, and the whole creation obeys his commands. The light of the sun shines out on everything, and everything is filled with the Lord's glory. Not even to his holy angels has the Lord given power to describe all his mighty deeds. Even though he has given them power to stand unharmed in his glorious presence, he sees into the oceans and into the human heart, and he knows the secrets of both. The Most High knows everything that can be known and understands the signs of the ages. He knows all that has ever been and all that will ever be. He uncovers the deepest of mysteries. He takes notice of our every thought and hears our every word. The orderly world shows the greatness of his wisdom. He is the same forever and ever. Nothing can be added to him and nothing taken away. He needs no one to give him advice. All his works are beautiful down to the smallest and the faintest spark of light. All of these things go on forever, and all of them have their purpose. All things are in pairs, each the opposite of the other, but nothing the Lord made is incomplete. Everything completes the goodness of something else. Could anyone ever see enough of this splendor? I think I'm going to stop there. Um, I want to read on, but I think I'm going to stop there. Because it's a lot. I mean, really, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. One picture to color it is when is it proper for you to be ashamed? And we talked about that, all the ways that and all the times that you should be ashamed. Oh, okay. I gotta get myself together here. Like what would he be wearing if he is ashamed? It's not a vibrant color. I want blue. He would be wearing blue. Like a darker shade of blue. He's ashamed. He's like, oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the last time I've been ashamed recently. I was ashamed by how I was feeling about one of my new clients that I had to go back to her house because she couldn't find her Medicare number. And this is the time of year where, thank God it's over, but where I'm actually on the road with my Medicare clients, renewing their plans, going over their plans. Because most of them are not going to be able to do it over the phone, or some of the ones that can't do it over the phone, we put it that way. I go see them, and I take them as calendar. It's a calendar that the government produces, CMS, and I just signed up for be able to get some of the materials, and one of the materials is this cute little calendar. So I go over their plans, talk about their plans, and give them a calendar. But it is get up, get dressed, print out a bunch of stuff, which Lord knows printing stuff costs a lot of money with cartridges. And then if you have to go back to somebody's house to visit, that's like, what? It's asking too much. And on top of that, with what's going on with the government and these Medicare Advantage plans, some of them are non-commissionable. If the insurance company doesn't want you to put a client in a plan, they make it non-commissionable. So you have this dilemma. It is truly a dilemma whether or not you're even going to show the client the plan. And me, I can't live in that dilemma. I cannot do it. So, I mean, if it's something that has their doctors in it and their prescriptions, and it's something to consider, I show them the plan. And this was the situation with her. It really was the best of the, she wanted one particular company, and it was the best of the options for that company in her area. So I showed her three potential plans, and yeah, different benefits. So, and I let her select it. But some agents wouldn't even show it to you because, unless you're going online and researching it, you're not going to know it exists. So anyways, that's the plan she chose, the non-commissionable one, which means I went back twice and made no money, right? But that's not what I'm ashamed about. I'm happy I did that because that was the right thing to do. I'm ashamed by the way I felt about having to go, about going there, and she couldn't find her Medicare number and then having to go back. I'm ashamed that I was like, in my inside, I was like, oh my God. But yes, this was us telling us, what did we just learn? What are some of the things we learned? We learned about the misery of human life, the results of evil, the joys of human life, begging and beggars, death, the faith of the wicked, a sense of decency, a sense of pride, fathers and daughters, and the glory of God in nature. So that was interesting. We're at almost the 25-minute mark, and we're almost finished with Sirach. So, until next time, it's Ridea keeping it real.